Well, hello everybody and welcome again to Wednesday's devotion. And just like last week I interviewed Graham Hush, you'll remember. Today I've got someone else I'd like to introduce to you if you don't already know him, the highly esteemed Reverend Geoff Flynn.
Thanks,
Welcome,
Mark.
Geoff.
Thank you, Mark.
Who is the minister here at Wollongong Mission or Wesley Church or Church on the Mall, depends what name that you are familiar with. Today I want to talk about, as we're a week outside of Pentecost, and so I want to do a prelude to the Pentecost by talking about the Holy Spirit, but I want to do it in a way that is not really what you would take out of the Bible, but look at personally how you might be able to relate to the Holy Spirit. So Geoff has wonderfully become the guinea pig to do this, and I say that because I've worked with Geoff over time, and I really respect his opinion and his reflection, and I'm sure that you will as well. So I'm going to ask him some harder questions. He's not really rehearsed, but this is how we do this as well. So Geoff, welcome and thank you for being part of this. I want to ask you, because we're talking about the practical prompting, or the how do we obviously see the Spirit move in today. And so I just want to focus that question quickly, Geoff, on the church. So where do you see the Spirit, or how do you see the Spirit moving the church? And taking into account the last 8 weeks we've been sort of in lockdown, how might you answer that?
I think the Spirit is always moving within the church, but the Spirit doesn't move in ways that we can control or that we can expect. And so it's really been quite remarkable that when the doors of our church were ordered to be shut, within 2 weeks, we had reinvented ourselves in the way in which we were doing worship. Initially, it was a bit clunky, but it didn't kill off the church. And it was hard work, but people rallied around and found their way. And I think we say in the basis of union, we have the Holy Spirit so that we won't lose our way. And I don't know whether it's been the same at Corrimal, but here at Wesley Wollongong, folk have been calling each other, emailing each other, dropping cards in. There's been a move of empowerment of pastoral care, and we could have talked about that and said visit one another, but it's taken the sort of jolt of the COVID that the Spirit, I think, can be seen moving through the life of the church.
So Geoff, is it a jolt on the Spirit, or is it a jolt on the people to enact with the Spirit that COVID-19 has brought us sort of to this sort of understanding now?
Well, I think within the church, when different things or unexpected things happen, that idea of reflecting and saying, where is the Spirit leading me? And if you have a sense that the Spirit is leading me, you can have hope, or you can see a way through what otherwise might be a blocked or closed pathway.
Have you heard any personal stories, Geoff, about people that... it's a funny comment sort of coming. People are sort of liking this sort of new way of churching. Has that been your experience as well?
Well, I think there has been some people who are saying, people are tuning into the digital world, and that there's been a greater embracing of the digital world by people who otherwise would have been comfortable with the traditional, and particularly maybe in a congregation like ours where we have a long heritage back to the 19th century. But I'm seeing people saying, yes, well, now that I've tried YouTube, wow, isn't this... There's a lot of religious resources. There's a lot... I can go to church 3 times on a Sunday.
That's right.
Or someone else said to me, I can go to church in my pyjamas.
Which is great. Cup of tea.
Yeah, so I think that is the Spirit moving and prompting people into getting beyond their comfort zone, but where there's an enriching of their faith or their understanding of who Jesus is.
No, that's great. That's great. That's a great example. Geoff, I want to shift the focus, if I can, from the church over to you. Geoff, personally, how has it been for you? How have you seen the Spirit moving in this period for you personally?
For me personally, the Spirit has slowed me down. I just was I was probably going at 120 miles an hour.
Hear that, people? Slow down.
And when the virus hit, it was like I had a virus in my calendar, and it all got, you could see it all disappearing and dropping out. And suddenly I had all this space. And so I've been finding that I've been getting more sleep, I've had more time to spend with family, and I've had more time to reflect. And I've been procrastinating on getting into the digital world, particularly Zoom, and it was almost like I had been reflecting before the virus, maybe I'd heard this Zoom, maybe I should know about that. Well, now I'm leading worship in it and becoming quite comfortable in that environment. Yeah. So that's how I guess I've seen the Spirit at work there.
Have you seen that reinforced, Geoff, by some biblical understanding or lesson? What prompted you sort of to see that as something that the Spirit's moving? Like, how do you connect the Spirit into you having this new revitalisation, this dropping off of different tasks, to get something more that's more active and prominent in today's time, like learning the digital way to connect church? Is the Spirit, is there something that stood out to you in a Bible reading, or?
Oh, it's probably the Greek word dunamos, which means power.
Okay.
So, the power of the Holy Spirit. So I often look at where is the Spirit by where there's energy.
Yeah.
So if I said to people, let's come along and have a Bible study, and I advertise it and I ring 20 people and no one comes, or hardly anyone comes, or it drops away, I think, well, maybe the Spirit's not in that because there's not a natural energy. But if we say, let's have a Zoom service, no one's heard of a Zoom service, but you put it out there and 25 people log in, to me that has a sense of energy. And then if you do it again next week and there's a different group of people there, or someone else rang you during the week and said, how can I learn to come into Zoom? I think that's, to me, is the Spirit, where there's an energy, not just an individual energy, but an energy in community. That, to me, is the Spirit moving. A lot of church growth people would say, well, we look at what they're doing down the road, so let's do what they're doing, and they put a lot of effort into it, and nothing happens, and someone else just happens to start something, and it takes off. And I think you can stack the timber and the Spirit won't ignite it.
Yeah.
And other times it's still a bit disordered. Yeah. But it catches.
So what's the understanding behind that then? What's that Holy Spirit says yes, burn, and no, that won't take off? Is it because it needs to be like Jesus at the absolute centre and forefront of everything that we do?
Well, I suppose that there's always that sense that Jesus goes on ahead of us, and that we are following Jesus. We're not taking Jesus to people. Jesus is already there. So it's about saying, to me, the Spirit is at work here. My prayer is, help me to see where the Spirit is working. But sometimes the Spirit may not. The Spirit might be saying, a bit like what I was saying. Spirit wasn't saying to me, go at 100 miles an hour. Spirit was saying to me, it's okay to slow down and just allow things to happen.
Well, that's some really good insight, I think, and a personal reflection from Geoff, which I'm sure will speak to us in a few different ways. I know that wouldn't sort of be my reflection. Maybe speeding up is what the Spirit is talking to me, not slow down. But look, Geoff, thank you for sharing that. That's a really good insight. I just want to say to you that the Spirit is working in your life, and for each of us it is going to be in some different way. But I say to you, if you say that Jesus is Lord, from 1 Corinthians, this is Paul telling us in 1 Corinthians 12, verse 3, If you say that Jesus is Lord, the Spirit then is empowered in your life. Thanks, Geoff.
Thanks, Mark.
And good morning, everybody. See you soon.
See you soon.